All right, we're live. We are live. Back at it. Let me switch over and get some things lined up here. Oh, good. Look at that. The resolution's back. Good to see that. Hey, Silk. Number one. First one in again, huh? Good to see you, man. Everybody, welcome back to the Wednesday Q&A live stream. I scheduled a couple weeks out with no guests to do some Q&A. I'm going to catch y'all up with everything. I have my Patreon open with one tier right now, just a platinum tier, which is a monthly paid subscription. You get exclusive access. Nothing I'll be showing on YouTube. You'll have to go. What's up, Get Gooder? You came back in. Glad to see you made it, man. You're only going to be able to see this on Patreon, and it's things about dating, relationships, certain fitness, mostly dating and relationships with the guys have questions about breakups, breakup recoveries, lifestyle, mindset, in-depth, quality content that really gets censored on YouTube that I can't really go in depth. We get pretty down and dirty with some of the stuff where I can be very descriptive and very straightforward without having to dance around. Of course I did, man. Of course I did. I was looking forward to tonight to addressing your question on here. Let me finish up my description, guys, and we'll get to the other stuff. So yeah, that's the Patreon. I'm going to have two more tiers, but with the tier I have open is all that content I just told you about. The videos will be published on there only, and then we'll do weekly, 2-hour weekly Zoom chats with just me and y'all's questions. And what we'll do is, you can ask questions according to the content, according to where you are, what are some of your goals, what are some of your ambitions, and some of the things you're looking to achieve, and I can answer it face-to-face, one-on-one with the group. And that'll be only available to the platinum members for a monthly subscription. Probably less than a Starbucks coffee a day for a month. And then I'll have a gold tier, which is same thing, access to videos, except it's 2 times a month on the Zoom, bi-weekly. And then the silver tier is just videos. You will not be having access to Zoom calls. But the platinum's a great deal. You'd be crazy to turn that down. It's like you get miniature sessions with me one-on-one, and we get to address and tackle stuff. So I'll be putting that link out soon. I just got it all put together last night. So I'll be getting the link out into the videos soon. And in the meantime, if you want one-on-one consultations, just go to my Instagram, which is in the link. Links in the description, and DM me. We'll schedule a call from there. Also, my 100 push-ups for 100-day challenge still ongoing. I live stream it every night. I decided to just go ahead and live it because I could never figure out how to splice the video to post it as an accountability video. And I just want to document the process. Well, my 100 live streams have just blown up. And this is where we're getting a lot of action. I'm hoping to see this one. This one I actually have been doing for a long time, my Wednesday night. It doesn't seem to get near as many people. And I advertise for this. It's crazy. But it's okay. I don't mind. Even if there was one person coming on, I'd still show up and do this. It's what I love. And thank you, everybody, for coming in. Coming up in the next few weeks, it's probably just going to be Q&As unless, because of the holidays and all, unless I get a hold of somebody and they want to jump in as a guest. And for y'all who are not familiar, I usually bring guests on, interview interesting people and things that interest me, and other people who share and are content creators and thought leaders in the men's health space that have a lot to offer that I like to have on. So anyway, let's get started. I was just going to freestyle, but last night during my live, this man, what's up, Warrior Above? What's up, champ? Good seeing you, man. Thank you for dropping in. So last night during the stream, my man Get Gooder here had a pretty intriguing question that live stream is really not designed to handle that. Oh, also, guys, if you wanted to make a donation on Super Chat, you can do that through the Super Chat for the channel. All donations go back into the channel. And I need new flip-flops and a new engine in my truck. But mainly for the mainly goes into the channel and my new flip-flops that my dog ate. So if you want to donate to the channel, that's the way to do it, through a live Super Chat. So anyway, Get Gooder had a very interesting question, and a lot of guys come to me with this, and it's definitely topic worthy for a live stream, and I'd love to dive into it. Get Gooder, do me a favor, my man. Put your question back up. What you were wondering about last night, and we'll get started on that. And as we go, I'll do my best to catch up with the chat and answer questions. If I'm in the middle of talking and explaining, it benefits me and everybody else for me to not look at the chat, because I'll get off topic. But drop that question back into the chat, Get Gooder. All right, maybe he left. Who all's in here? I see Silk, Get Gooder, and Warrior Above. Do you have an advice for new or soon-to-be fathers? Now, this is actually a great question. You said you grew up without a father in the home. Like, tell me briefly. I'm going to ask you a few questions. Very simple answers. Raised by a single mother? Great question, by the way. And I love that there's a young man out there seeking some direction on this. I am a father. I've been for 21 years. Started out young, 25. I had my son. Yes, single mother. Siblings. Any siblings, yes or no? Warrior Above, you going along with us, huh? Good question. Yeah, it is good. Wow, this is going to get it to be a hot little topic tonight. We'll spend about an hour on it. And you think of this as like a free session, brother, because we're going to get into some stuff. Some of the things that I've experienced and still experience as a father. It's one of probably the most profound thing that a man can go through in life. The highest honor from God to have God bestow a man with the honor of being a father and being responsible for bringing somebody up. And what you do is you have an opportunity to, through your life, your love, and your experience and your protection, raise a healthy adult. And B-Rabs, long time no see, brother. Good seeing you. Thank you. Grateful for your sub, man. Grateful for you to be in here tonight. Thank you for dropping in. Make sure you hit that like button. B-Rabs, been around for a long time, y'all. What can I do as a man for another guy constantly trying to make me seem bad and weak? Here's what I do with that. Because, everybody gets tested. That's usually insecurity on the guy's part. If you don't have to be around that person, then don't be around them. You cut those kind of people off immediately. If it's somebody you work with, you have to be around. Like if it's a social group, just remove yourself. Remove that person immediately. But, this is something, a challenge that comes across all men's plates at some point. Obviously, it would be nice to be able to just bust his ass. But but that's not, I don't condone violence. Violence is a measure of last resort when you're trying to preserve life. Too many people, want to get their egos bruised and swell up and think they want to put hands on somebody. That's dangerous. That's careless. That's immature. What I do is just basically, it's up to you to keep your emotions in check and keep centered. You know what this guy's trying to do. I usually just ignore him, laugh him off, or confront them, because that's pretty passive aggressive behavior. If they say something, I was like, was that meant to be an insult? Or can you say that again? You just kind of interrupt, because what they want to see is a reaction out of you. There's a lot of insecure, feminine ass men out there that want to see you react. The last thing you want to do is give them what they want. This is why I really don't pay attention to them. I just nod my head and carry on as if they don't even exist. But it's just a little dick swinging game. Usually comes from insecure men who are threatened by you in some kind of way, or are testing you. And all right, we'll come back to that, LW. Hold that thought. We're going to talk about what we came here to talk about. I told my man, Get Gooder, we'll come on here and we will address this tonight. So we're going to get on that. Wow. Okay, Get Good. I'm going to read this out loud, brother. And my dad beat and starved us. My mom left when she threatened to shoot all of us. That was way early in elementary school. I've watched my older brothers turn into my dad in different ways. Well, Get Gooder, that's a lot to unpack, brother. And I don't know if you have a relationship with God. It's never too late, and it's very simple to ask God for guidance immediately. You could do that while we're waiting right here if you don't already. And if you need to, we'll pray together. I'll pray for you right here on this live stream. Power of prayer, brother, especially in numbers. So that gives me a good insight into your model of parenting, your model and idea of love. So hold on a second. There we go. I'm going to hide this chat a minute. Anybody coming in, hit that like. And I'm going to be in the middle of talking, so save your questions unless you want to talk amongst each other. I got the chat hidden. And then, so obviously, I asked if you had siblings. It's a yes. I would really want to know, are they older or younger? But it sounds like you're older brothers. Okay, I see. I wasn't reading that right. So you've got to see from the outside looking in, watching your brothers turn into your dad. And obviously, you have a different awareness of everything going on. Then you have this child, or going to be a father, or you already have the soon-to-be father. 3 older brothers and a younger sister. Okay. New or soon-to-be fathers. Now, let me ask you this, Get Good. Are you expecting a child right now? Are you expecting a child? Or you're just asking in general? I never even bothered to ask that, did I? What's up, Silk? Yeah, LW, welcome. We can get into a little more of that. What's up, Sherry? Simply Sherry. Silk's back. Yeah, I remember you saying that, Silk. Sorry to hear that again. Yes, the middle of next year. Okay, great. So you are an expectant father, and this is a genuine concern. And first, let me say I'm honored that you came to me with that. That means a lot to me. I do this to help men in a lot of situations, and I believe that this is a calling of mine. This is a true passion of mine, is helping and reaching out to men. I'm just going to give you a quick synopsis of my life looked like growing up young, parents divorced young, crazy, also raised by a mom. Dad wasn't around much, also raised by a single mom with an older sister and a younger brother. And I know when it was time for me to be a dad at 25, and let me tell you something, growing up was crazy. I was an out of control, misunderstood basket case of a kid who had a warped idea of what love meant, what relationships were, my role in a relationship, my role in society. Being raised by a woman, women are not designed and built to raise men. And, you know, there's things that operate in this world that are different for men and women, the way things are. And we can't handle things the same. Things just not, that's not, men and women are not the same. So I will, so I got married at 23, still not understanding what my role was. I was a little dependent on, my wife was older than me, and I really didn't know, I didn't have a really strong male figure and role model in my life to base a man's role in his family, to his wife, to his children, and to society. So everything I've learned over the years has been through experience, through just tenacious work and knowledge seeking, because I've always felt something was off. And this is what I love about your question, Get Gooder, is, you know, there's a possibility that you may screw your kid up if you don't get this stuff looked at, being what you grew up in. And you're afraid that you're not going to do a good job. And that's okay, dude. That's a reasonable fear. I would be worried if you were like, I got this, you know, super confident as a first-time father. That's a rational fear. But what you're going to be surprised is how much of an instinctual father you already are. You're going to see. Remember this statement when you go to bring that baby home from the hospital. And the minute you see this baby, boy or girl, you're going to really understand love. And then you're going to feel a sudden sense of purpose in this world, in this life. And that is to completely protect and provide for this child. It's going to give life a whole new meaning, and the definition of love a whole new meaning. And you really understand what I'm saying when you get there. I know you're feeling a little bit now, but to get a head start, you need to address some of the things you were exposed to as a child. Nobody goes through what you went through without some trauma. You may not even understand it because it was your normal for so long that you don't think it affects you. What's going to happen is there's this huge misconception that people think an awareness of some dysfunction or some toxicity or some like awareness of low self-esteem is going to raise it. That's not how it works. I don't know if you ever heard the saying, you know, come time for like violence, let's say, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your training. In the context of fatherhood and being a husband and leading a family, don't think you're going to magically rise to the occasion. You're going to default to the level of your limited subconscious self-talk and beliefs. And having an awareness of it is great, obviously. And it takes a lot of courage to face that and even come out and say what you're saying and ask this question. And I want to commend you on that. That's a very brave thing. But you want to focus on wounded people bleed all over others on accident. And you may be able to be functional and keep your shit together. And that's good. You sound like a great guy, especially if you're concerned about being a great father. That tells me a lot about your character there. Just a question alone, any information you're seeking. Sorry, my nose itches like crazy. And first thing you want to do is pray. You want to start building a relationship with God. First and foremost, anything led by God cannot be wrong, cannot be bad, and it will work out. If you put your faith in God, you'll get all the information in the direction you need. Secondly, it's important that you have a conversation with the baby's mother. Are you and the baby's mother together? Are y'all going to be together? Gooder? Yes, I'm doing a push-up challenge tonight after this. Day 3 off benzos. That's awesome, Robert. Keep it up. Yeah, it's going to be fucking nasty for a minute. It's hanging there. It's a little discomfort. It'll go away. I'm proud of you, man. All right. You've been together since 10th grade. That's great. So that means well, you have a close bond. So you need to have this conversation. You need to have an honest, open conversation with this lady, with this woman. And I'm sure if y'all been together since 10th grade, she knows a lot about you. You know a lot about her. And it's important that you are able to understand and address some of these things that may affect you in the future as a father and as a husband and as a leader of your family. It's not an overnight process, but the quicker you start, the better. Are you tracking so far what I'm saying? So 9 years ago, so you're 15, what are you, about 24 now? So, and look, the thing is, like, here's the job of a parent. To protect your children, to provide for your children, obviously food, shelter, water, basic needs. Every child is born pure, a clean slate. It's not until we get injected into dysfunctional shit that we become tainted with, issues with self-esteem, bad relationships, bad decision-making. As kids, we're all pure. We have these big dreams and aspirations, and we're just so happy to be alive every day. And every day is a new day, and it's a discovery. And we have, 25, yeah. Sala, hold your questions, brother. I'm right smack in the middle of explaining something. And I've told y'all in the beginning, you have questions you want to ask, you want specific questions, put it in the super chat. But tonight I'm addressing this. So this child is born already full of love and self-esteem and innocence. And you think of this kid's self-esteem in this bucket, right? And throughout its life, throughout the child's life, and I think anybody of any age can attest to that, through the years and life experience, there's going to be holes shot in that bucket. And that self-esteem is going to pour out. Well, it's your job as a parent to keep pouring that bucket, keeping that bucket full. So your kid grows up with a healthy self-image. So your kid grows up with a healthy relationship with themselves, self-respect, self-love, self-awareness, and is able to do these things and it's these critical life skills and not grow up with their head down, afraid, feeling abandoned. feeling abandoned and unloved and undeserving of love, because this is what happens when you grow up in a dysfunctional family. From 0 to 7 years or the years where you're developing your whole idea, values and belief system. And when you grow up in dysfunction, by the time you hit 8, 9 years old, like you've already got an idea of who you are to yourself. You got your whole self-concept developed, in which you basically do past that point through adolescence, teenage years, and adulthood, is participating in behaviors and making decisions to reinforce that idea of yourself. And it's only to compound on the negative things that are in there, that trauma. And trauma is not something to be ashamed of. Everybody has it. Everybody has been through some kind of dysfunction or carries some kind of weight with them into life. So, and that's okay. There's nothing to be. I hid my shit for years thinking it was a weakness, thinking there was something wrong with me, thinking I was the only one. And why do I feel like this? Why do I think like this? Everybody has it, dude. Everybody has it. And I got help for it. I've worked for years and years, and it's changed my life. And this is why I tell you the awareness isn't good enough, because in the very beginning of doing the self-work and going deep and clearing that trauma is scary. It's scary at first. I mean, look, nobody wants to go in them deep, dark holes and see the worst side of themselves. And look, there's another thing to understand about this, Get Gooder, is you didn't ask for that. No person, anybody in here, if you're struggling with stuff, let me see. Let me read yours real quick. I've always lied and said I never wanted a child because I was watching my 2 brothers become like my father. That's a healthy fear, Get Gooder. But here's something that can help you dispel that fear is you're afraid of it. So you're going to be super vigilant about letting that happen. It can. This is why I said an awareness isn't good enough, because you can default into that behavior. When your back's against the wall, you're in a high stress, high pressure situation, you're going to fall to that level of parenting, and you may act out. And look, don't be afraid to discipline your children. Discipline is love. Structure is love. Kids want to be disciplined and structured and guided. Kids feel safe. Kids feel loved when you discipline them, when you give them structure, when you give them routine. Kids feel really safe with that. When kids feel unsafe and insecure is when you let them do whatever they want. And that's a huge mistake made by people who think, I'm gonna just let my kid do whatever they want. And, kids have parents for a reason. It's because they can't make decisions. They're not equipped. They're not little baby animals with these instincts. They got to do shit like wipe their ass and learn how to walk and put your clothes on and cook. And they can't do that. But the awareness isn't sufficient to completely heal. And you may never completely heal, but you can be on a healing journey, which will not only up your ability to be a more fit parent, it's going to give your child somebody to look up to. And this is one of the biggest things we got to do once we have kids, is understand it's not about us anymore. So you really need to get your shit together and get your things straight throughout this child's life, because they need you to show them what to do. And that's a huge responsibility. And if you're bitter and resentful and carrying your trauma around and have full of resentment from your parents, you're going to resent that process and you're going to hate yourself. And that's not what your kid needs to see. That's not what a healthy kid needs. The healthy kids need a stable environment and love and encouragement and support. Keep that self-esteem bucket full. Life is going to naturally sniping that bucket, trying to pop holes in it. Through failure, through peers, through school, through failures. That's all a natural part of life. But the healthiest kids grow up with a strong family unit, and especially a strong father, because a father represents the strength in a family. And then, you know, these days it's so common to have a broken family or a split family. The nuclear family has all but been disintegrated and laughed off as an afterthought. And it's not true. And look at what happened. Look at society today as a product of the dissolving of the nuclear family. But you have an opportunity to do something different. I'm divorced. I am. You know, some things I went through, and oh, look, Junior, DT Junior in the house. I've been straightening myself out. I hadn't drank in about 1.5 years. I quit nicotine in April and I've dropped. That's great, Get Gooder. See, that's wonderful. Look, at the end of the day, you have too much self-awareness. You've got to see your father do what he did. You grew up in a mother. You know for certain you don't want your child growing up the way you did. Can we agree on that? You don't even have to agree. I know for damn sure you don't want that. If you're concerned enough to ask this question, I know you want to provide the best life for this child, a life better than he could imagine, a better life than you had. And you're already in the right place. You're moving in the right direction. The biggest concern would be is the unresolved trauma. And because what happens is you could accidentally project your insecurities, your lack of, view of a lack of self-worth and not deserving love and not deserving a fucking amazing life. You can actually leak that onto your kids. My parents did it to me. She did. My mom still to this day, I'm not affected by that anymore. I mean, I've worked past that a long time ago. But even to this day, my mother's got the worst outlook on life. And we don't really talk that much, and I don't buy into it. But she's negative. Life is tough, and this is hard. I told her I'm stuck in traffic the other day. I had to call her about my grandmother's service, and she said, "Oh, that's just the way it goes." Like, she's very negative. I don't even like talking to her. But she's my mother and I love her, and she did her best with what she had. But unfortunately, she didn't ever want to work on her deficiencies. You, on the other hand, are in a different place. Yes, I was actually going to say something about that at the end, was the EMDR therapy. I've done an EMDR. I've used it, and that's a very, very valuable tool. What's up, Brian Horner? Good to see you too, brother. Where am I seeing that light from? So anyway, I didn't mean to go so far off topic, Get Gooder. What I would suggest, and I'm not a fucking medical professional, but I've got years of life experience. I have 21 years experience being a father. And you're built with a lot of what you already need instinctually to be a father. At 25, that's a good age. And you can still grow and improve yourself as you're raising a child. Matter of fact, it would be highly beneficial to you to keep doing that and always working on yourself. Let your son or daughter see a representation of a strong, loving man. You want your kids to know that they have nothing to worry about, that dad's going to take care of everything. You want your kids to know that they can come to you with anything. They want to feel safe and trust. And the way you do that is you provide structure, you provide discipline. Obviously, you provide love and attention and care. And as a father, also, you got to remember, you got to do the hard stuff too. That's just a contract. That's demand contract, brother. That's in the masculine description of duties. Is you got to do the tough shit. You got to make the hard decisions. You got to give the tough love. You the ones got to dish out the discipline. You can dish out discipline from love, and a kid knows the difference. between abuse and discipline. I'm sure you know the difference between the two, having experienced what you did. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. I think the first thing is get a relationship with God. Second thing is start looking into someone to work with healing your trauma. I highly recommend hypnotherapy. That's where I started. EMDR is a great tool. Great tool. There's a chance you might have carried over a little PTSD from childhood, which EMDR is a fantastic tool. I mean, and once you do a few sessions, you can actually do it on your own. They are EMDR on YouTube, and it's I forget what it stands for, but it's like bilateral movement therapy. So you type in EMDR therapy on YouTube, and it's just like a green dot or something that goes from side to side on the screen. And there's other ways you could do it. You can do like something to interrupt, and bilateral, bam, left, right, left. And same thing with moving the eyes. So what you're doing is you're going from your creative side to your logic side, creative side, logic side. And you're passing these ideas. You think of something that, like, try to take yourself back to a moment where it'll peak your negative emotions to a 10, whether it's hurt, betrayal, anger, sadness, right? Say it was a time you remember one night when you were scared out of your mind as a little kid. You felt you were in imminent danger or severely hurt, emotionally, physically, just scared, whatever heightened emotion it was. And as you're thinking about that, you visualize the whole experience as if you were there. Like, put yourself back where you can why can't I think of this word? Relive the experience in as much clarity and detail as you can. Like the clothes you're wearing, the temperature, the expressions, the fine lines on somebody, anything that you can, the room you were in, the color of the room, everything is in great and as great detail as possible to reconstruct that moment. Let those emotions come in. Just open up and let it happen. If it's fear, let that fear swell you up. You feel it. Know that you can almost feel your hands sweating. My hands start sweating because I've done that for some pretty traumatic shit. And as you do that, then you pause. 1, 2. You do it for about a minute straight. Left, right, with this thought, this image, this moment fresh in your brain, and you bilaterally. And then what you do is you go back after you've finished the session, kind of clear out a second, then relive the moment again. And what should happen is each time you do that, you begin to walk it down. Next thing you know, a few sessions, you start to realize that you can think about that very same moment that would get you sweaty and take you back to a bad place. And it really doesn't have much of an effect on you at all. And you would rate it from a 1 to 10, 10 being the worst feeling, 1 being, I don't even think about it. And the object is to get it from a high number to a lower number each time. And it takes repeats. I've used this stuff, and it's a great tool. It really works. I got it from a certified EMDR therapist who I worked with for a long time. And I still use it to this day when there's something heavy, there's something stressful that I need to work through, because I'm a busy dude. I don't really have time to sit and process. It's something I can do right in the moment. I'm alone. I can do it for 5 minutes and I'll get an immediate effect. Obviously, you've been through some pretty serious stuff, and I'm sorry you had to go through that, Get Gooder. But it's here's the thing. You didn't deserve that, brother. And I'm here to tell you, nobody deserves to go through what you went through as a child. You didn't ask for it. And my heart genuinely goes out for you for having to go through that as a child. But here's where we are now, is it's your responsibility to make sure this doesn't happen to your son. It is now your responsibility to heal that. You're aware of it. So you own it now, brother. And that's a good thing, because now that you're aware about it, you can fix it. I mean, aware of it, you can fix it. And it's not going to serve you for me to say, you know, you poor thing, you poor baby. I genuinely feel for you. I'm not even going to try to cheapen it with an explanation, but take my word for it. I genuinely feel for you. I know what it's like as a kid to go through shit, and I'm not trying to compare yours and mine. I'm not at all. But the good news is that there is a solution, and obviously you're searching. See, this is what happens when you start looking for answers to things. The universe, God puts them in front of you. This may just be your starting point. You coming to my live stream last night and bringing this up, and me not having the time, so we kicked it off to tonight, and here we are, 40 minutes into, you know, digging through and picking through some of this stuff and unpacking the whole process of healing. It's going to be a bit of a journey, so you're going to have to be prepared to be patient, compassionate with yourself, but not let up on the work. Some of this stuff gets a little bumpy, I promise you. When you got to go back into those dark places, it's not fun, but it's the only way. There's no way around it. There's no shortcut. There's no pill. It'll never go away. It'll always resurface. And the longer you put it off, the deeper it goes and the harder it is to access and get rid of. So you're 25, you're at a great age, dude, when you still have good neuroplasticity, where you can reprogram and rewire your whole fucking idea of who you are. And you can essentially use this opportunity to having a child to reinvent yourself into a whole new man, into the ideal man you want to be, to level up, to be Get Gooder 2.0. And I really believe God put you here to hear that. That God put the opportunity for me to tell you that there's an opportunity for you to live a life you never could have imagined, that you probably don't even believe is available to you. And I'm telling you, it is. You know, I know it's hard to think of. It's still hard for me to believe. But dude, like, I was in and out of jail, homeless, hooked on drugs, living on the streets. Like, I didn't think I was going to be alive. And all I did was start asking these questions, man. It's available to you, I promise you. And you're worthy of it. And that's the important thing, that you need to know that. You need to be able to internalize deep down inside that you deserve an amazing fucking life full of wealth and joy and happiness and togetherness, and to feel safe and be a model father for your child. You deserve that. And I know things that have happened to you, you may on some level, or maybe a very conscious level, that you don't deserve that, or that's not available to you. And I'm telling you, it is. I've been there and I'm here. Believe me when I tell you, you deserve every second of that. Start there. If you need some resources for hypnotherapy, I know 3 hypnotherapists. I can put you in touch with them immediately. 3 fucking amazing guys. Amazing. You'll feel a difference after 1 session. And what they'll do is they put you in a trance. You go into a trance, like it's called an alpha state. They bring everything down. And what you do is, instead of this cognitive therapy and one-on-one with a therapist or conventional therapy or medication, please don't get on medication until you have at least done as much as the holistic stuff that you can. Because that's the first thing psychiatrists want to do, is medicate you and turn you into a fucking zombie. But what happens is, you get on this medication, you get numb, you never deal with it. You never process it. It'll just sit there dormant. until finally one day you don't want to take the medication and boom, it's right back. Hypnotherapy changed my life. Changed my fucking life. And you'll be put in an alpha state with a trusted, certified hypnotherapist. And this guy, whatever you go over, is confidential. These people are legally obligated to treat you just like a patient. Doctor-patient privilege type thing. You know, it's the privacy is a legality. And these are really good people who've been through hard shit too and want to help people. And what they'll do is walk you back. They'll take a slow process of bringing you into this trance-like state, which is an alpha state. Or is it theta? Anyway, not important. You'll get more description if you choose to take that route. And what they'll do is they'll take you back to the origins of all of this stuff, the origins of the trauma. And it allows you to, they walk you back down into, which is like, this is equivalent to hours and hours and hours, hundreds of hours of cognitive behavioral therapy. Instead of trying to reshape things, you know, one conversation at a time. And this is a pathway straight to that trauma. It's like called mining your trauma, because you think of it as mining. You go into a cave and you slip, you get to the origin of the trauma, where you're able to uproot it at its source. And then therefore you free up that space, that neuroplasticity. You get to free up that space for the new concept and the new idea and the new identity. See, because we adopt this identity of we are this, and this. Like I said, when you're 0 to 7, you form your whole identity. And for so long it's been that way, you need to remove that and replace it with what you want, your ideal self. And so what you do is you get an opportunity to, while you're in that trance-like state, and it's very interesting and it's super powerful, that you get to revisit that child as you are today. And you get an opportunity to pick that child up and let them know, like, hey, man, I'm here now. You got nothing to worry about. I'm going to take care of you for the rest of your life. I love you. And I'm sorry I wasn't there for you, but I'm here now. And you kind of take that inner child, embrace, and you become one. And that, I'm telling you, you come out of this, you come out a different person. You're probably going to have a headache. You're going to be hungover feeling for like 2 days. And all of a sudden, wow, it still makes me emotional. Excuse me. What happens is you'll notice some days down the line where something will come up, some old familiar thing, and you won't even have a reaction to it. It's like it never existed. Something that had been a common trigger for you will have zero effect. You'll be completely neutral. You won't be happy. You won't be sad. You won't be anything. You won't give a fuck. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the inner work. Gooder, you still on here? So it's the inner work, guys. There's not a there is not. Let's see, how do I do that? Where did I leave off? There is a lot of people mistaken. Yeah, you do go to the gym. You do throw yourself into your purpose. Okay, do you hear everything I said? It got quiet over there. You know, you do healthy things. You shape up your diet. You start taking better care of yourself, which it sounds like you're already on the road to doing, which is fantastic. And I'm proud of you for doing that. Like, dude, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Not by accident either, because you're showing up and you're looking for answers. And let me tell you something. People who are dabbling, like, I don't know. They don't really get the answers. They don't get direction. Like you started having questions about this, and God is revealing to you solutions and putting you in places to hear what you need to hear and get what you need to get. You're going to be fine. And you need to know that before you even start this process. You're going to do way better than you think you are. You're having some self-doubt, which is completely natural. You have some huge concerns. You have some huge concerns, and rightfully so, about your childhood, the way you were brought up, and you're afraid that's going to show up, rear its ugly head into your child's life. But the fact that you are seeking improvement and seeking some direction, it's not going to happen, dude. So there, do the inner work, brother. I mean, there's other stuff that comes along with it, but this is your process to undergo. This is your journey to start. I would love, trust me, for every guy out here who comes to me for help, I would love to have a secret formula written or be able to send you a package of pills to take to fix it immediately. That's not how it works. Nothing sustainable of quality and value is going to come to you easy. And if you can find the why you want to do it, the how doesn't matter, brother. All you need is your why, and you have a child coming. You're going to be a fucking father. There's your why. You move from that place, that's a higher calling from God. He'll make sure to get you where you need to be. Exceedingly abundant, above and abundant than you could ever fucking imagine it's going to turn out. I'll promise you that. If you take the steps. If you want the contact information I can give you for these resources, hit me up on Instagram. We'll talk through DMs. I'll get you that stuff as needed. If there's anything you want to do with me to help, if you want to book some sessions to work on things, but I highly suggest you hit this heavy stuff first. I really do. And I think it's going to pay dividends for you. And I definitely want you to keep up with us and let us know how things are going. And did that answer some of your questions? Did that help you any? Did that give you some insight, some direction? I hope what I said was able to help you out. It's I'll put it in the chat. It's in the links. If you go to my live stream, my 100 push-ups, I'll put it. Oh no, it's in this description too. My editor schedules these. There it is, Gooder. That's my IG. But you can go right in the description here on this video, on this live stream, and it's in there. You can click on it. Yeah, good, man. Thank you for coming in. Very interesting. Great stream, though, huh? That was a really good topic, man. And thank you for coming out and saying something about it. You know how many people are out there struggling to ask this question or afraid to say that they don't feel adequate in certain areas? That takes some balls, man. Any other questions get gooder? I'm going to answer a couple here, and we're going to drop off, and I'm going to go do my 100 push-ups. I'm going to get on my live stream. If you have another question, drop it in here. Or if there's something I said that you want clarity on, because I know I kind of drug it out with a lot of talking and went to a few different directions. It's just a lot to take in. Proud masculine. You're already aware of a major problem in life. However, I'm also emotional about my parents not being present grandparents. My dad chose vodka. That's just the way it goes sometimes, brother. My dad wasn't around for my son. You don't need that. Don't take it personal. There is no reflection on you. It's their loss. You're welcome, brother. You know, you can't force people to be in anybody's life or anything. So one day when they get older, they'll look back and regret that they weren't in your kids' lives. My son didn't have. My son has his mother's mom as a grandparent. Mom wasn't real present in his life, and it's no big deal. They'll grow up just fine. No, I get it. I get it, Casey. I do. My grandpa was everything to me too. It's not going to be the case for your kids. So be an excellent father for them. What am I doing? I'm working. All right, Silk. I'm working tomorrow. Might make a few stops. I don't know. We'll see. See how the day goes. I am a workaholic. Might go visit some family. I don't know. I'm definitely working for a little while. And I'll be doing my live at some point. Yes, Robert, I do. That's something a lot of people struggle with. First, you got to look at why you don't feel like that. Then you got to look at the things you can improve immediately. What can you do to change that perception of yourself? Well, you're not feeling good enough because you know you're not being good enough and you're leaving something on the table, or you're living up to your potential, or you're taking care of yourself, stuff like that. Baby Blue, that's such a girl answer. She said, you got this, Casey. Be there and be the best you can be. That's true, but you need to put some work in, Casey. I don't know your situation, but you need to sit down and be honest with yourself. Are you being the best you can be? Well, there you go, brother. Step one. And that's great. You have an awareness. Now you're working towards a solution. It's great to have that awareness, but it doesn't mean shit if you're not going to. I know, Baby Blue. Thank you for your sweet sentiments to these guys. They need a little bit of that too. I'm just not the one to give it to them. I'll let you do that. Well, if you're not living up to your potential, that's your fault. You understand that. Take full accountability for where you are. And from this moment on, take the action to do something about it. Change that. Like literally sit down and make a list, a physical list with a ink pen and a legal pad. You ought to keep that. Write a fucking list. Are you happy with who you see in the mirror? Are you happy with, start there. And, a lot of times people don't realize how interconnected physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health are tied because one thing's off balance. Do you have a relationship with God? Are you mentally stable? Are you emotionally healthy and stable? Are you physically are you in good shape? Do you take care of your body? Do you eat, sleep, and work out right? So you need to know that. But you need to know that. You need to go get in the mirror and tell Casey what the fuck he needs to do to get better, get busy, And I say that with love. Because you have kids too, These kids are looking at somebody for some kind of instruction and direction in life. It's probably you. And we have the gift of having our kids think that we're gods and we're perfect and we're strong and we're everything. And, we're invincible. And that's great. But, and look, Casey, it's okay to be human. It's okay to be imperfect. Everybody's flawed. And that's okay. You can own that shit. But the worst thing you want to do is, if you hear you need to shift your mindset, if you hear in this place, poor me, I don't get what I want. Why me? Life isn't fair. Why does this always happen to me? Why me? You need to get out of that shit immediately. You're not a victim. If you are a victim, it's by choice. You've put yourself in the victim seat. Get the fuck out of that. And empower yourself with the thought, drop that victim shit and say, I have a choice. What can I do right now to change this situation? What can I do at this very moment? And I'll answer that question for you. Sit down and make a list and get honest with yourself and see what you need to start working on and get started immediately. And you ought to join my Patreon group, and we'll be going over through this shit through the weeks. It would help you tremendously. Then you can actually build a community with other men who are getting the same advice and direction and working on the same things you are, and y'all can bounce off each other and build a fucking tribe of men. Iron sharpens iron. Men need other men. It's a growth process, brother. Do you think anyone cares about face scars, especially? No, I got scars all over my fucking face. Look, scar here, I got a scar here, scar here, scar here, scars on my head. Women like that shit. Don't sweat it. I've been asking myself the last few years, finally realized I couldn't live like that. I had to make mine and theirs better. That's it. That's all you can do. Let me tell you something, Casey. Listen up. If you're drowning, nobody's coming to save you, brother. You better start swimming. Participate in your own rescue. You're the only one that's going to make a difference. Anyway, that was a really good, meaningful. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Robert, Baby, Blue, Quiet King jumping in late. Maybe he's been there the whole time. Silk, Casey, as always. Hunter, I'm glad you came in. I don't know ways that get gooder if you're still in here, brother. I want you to keep in touch, man. I definitely want to talk to you some more. Follow me on Instagram, and I'll hand you over some resources, maybe set up a little talk or something. And for everybody else coming in, and I think everybody here subscribed, but if you're passing through and listening quiet behind the chat, if you haven't, hit that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell to know we're going live. I'm going to take a few minute break, and then I'm going to jump on my 100 push-ups, 100 day, 100 push-up live stream. Get that knocked out. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And if you feel like the topic tonight and the content I offer tonight on this live stream provided you with some value, make a donation of what you felt that information was worth. And I really appreciate y'all coming here. And thank you, everybody. See y'all in a little bit.